Here today, first day of November. We're in for a good day today, guys. Let's get started with our prayer request. Continue to remember Kendall and the family, Kevin and the boys. She starts her treatments again Wednesday, the 5th. Is that Wednesday? Yeah. And we're praying that that's tolerable for her. So y'all pray for that. And Miss Coffey, Charner Franklin. Charner Franklin just turned 97 last week. Mike Bowling, Steve and Becky Bowles. I had a long talk with Becky yesterday, and she shared quite a bit with me, and she said it was okay for us to share this morning. Steve had been turned down for, and you correct me if I get any of this wrong, okay? Steve had been turned down for hospice care a couple of times. But he qualified for palliative care, and apparently God's working pretty hard. She said the nurse day before yesterday went back to the office and begged and pleaded and had prayer, and so it sounds like they're going to go ahead with the hospice care. Right. Okay. And which will help Becky a lot. Palliative care, I think, is some of you medical field people can correct me, is maybe once a month visit. Hospice will be every week unless needed. And Steve's lost 100 pounds. So she's had to go get him some more clothes and things like that. And Becky's tired. Yeah. Yeah. I thank Seth this morning for the love and the help he's given his mother and his dad. And y'all pray for this family and the care. Ryan, your Uncle Ned, your friend Stoltz. Okay. Mr. Taylor and Ella, Bobby's dad and stepmother. Debbie Schubert, Mike Overstreet, Judy, how about Adam? Okay. All right. Anita Thornton and her mother's care, Mr. Scroggins, Tammy's dad, Judy Rogers, Michael Ruffin, Brother William Allen, Kate Sage the Everleys. Still have Randall on here. Okay. Danny Whitlock had his stents put in last week, and he was doing pretty good this week when I talked to him. So, but y'all, we're going to keep him on there for a little while. They had to put 2 stents in, if I remember correctly, instead of 1. Okay. Kaylee Aker. Doug, how about Mr. Beckman?
Just talked to his son last week, and he's actually wanting to move to the same facility where his wife is.
Okay.
He's wanting to be closer to us.
Okay.
We're still having our Monday night Bible study. We got another, I think, 3 weeks on that.
Good. Okay.
Good for him and
Okay. All right, thank you. Mitchell Taylor. Still have Connie Foreman on here. We're Rebecca. And Philip Purdom. Clay's family, of course, we still need to pray for them with the loss of both his parents in the last month or so. Carolyn Watson with the loss of her sister and the care of Richard, her husband. Arliss Treadway. Greg, that's your cousin, right? Okay. Debbie, I still have Jackie Fink on here. Okay, good. Okay, good. Leslie Sandifer's brother-in-law with his treatments, his name's Ken. And we also need to pray for Leslie. Becky and I went over last night and visited with them quite a while, and she was doing great, has been doing great all week, but Tanya said she's having a little pain, discomfort this morning. So y'all pray for Leslie and Randy as well. Let's see who else we have. Martha Jarrow, Larry Bates, Sharon Hawk, Doug and Terry McClendon, Jason Johnson, Miss Campbell, Eloise Campbell. Oh. Okay. Oh. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Thanks, Mike. Keith and Gayla Bogey. Rebecca, I still have Grace on here. Okay. Bill Staggs, Rita Veazey, Miss Kathy, you and your family, David Roker, Greg. Okay. And we also still have Ricky Trout family on there. Doug. Okay. All right. Let's see. Rhonda Scott. Okay. Let's see. Have I missed anybody, or do you have others to add? Yes, I'm sorry. Desperate prayer there. Okay, thank you. All right. Others? Greg, settle down over there. Kendall had asked for prayer for Andrea Barber. Does you know any more about that, Lindsay? I'm sorry? Okay. All right. Okay. Goodness. Okay. Also, way of announcement and prayer, on December 14th, we will be having a retirement party for Brother Mike. And Tanya, I meant to ask you this morning, but I'll put you on the spot now. We're asking the church for love offering for him, and we've got a gift that we've acquired or going to acquire for him, but we also are asking for a love offering for him and Sister Linda. And Tanya, if you wouldn't mind being in charge of, if you have a love offering you'd like to give it to Tanya, and then we'll put that together with what else the other Sunday school classes are gathering up. Okay. If you want to fill out a card for them, for he and Sister Linda, fill out a card, and they're going to combine those into a book for them to keep from the church. So just keep that make that a matter of prayer, and remember that, please. It's going to be here before we know it. Also, the youth committee, November 15th from 3 to 5. You want to speak to this? Okay. Okay. Right. Lindsay, food truck. Brett, food truck. You still need volunteers, I'm sure. Okay. Okay. Look at that, guys, and pray about that. And I asked our class when they started this for us to really get behind that. And we're at a critical time, not just for a pastor change or whatever, but we have youth coming. I mean, I can't stress this strongly enough. And we're still, guys, I promise you, we're still trying, pastor-wise and youth pastor. We need to pray very, very hard about this in our personal prayers. We need to take care of our youth. We need to build that program. We need to have some not just fun times for them. They need worship, and they need the Holy Spirit in their lives. So pray about this, and we'll get behind this event, because this is community wide. I'm sure it's going out on Facebooks all over the place and things like that. Invite people to come. You don't have to stay from the whole time. You can walk through and leave, have some food. And when we have visitors here, those of us who are church members, when they arrive, love on those people. Let them know we're here, not just in body, but we're here for them. And that could be very beneficial to our church as well as the youth, okay? Anything else, guys? Oh, really? Ah. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yes, yes, yes. Is there a sign or information over at Andy's? Good, 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 great. All right. Anything else, guys? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that and Debbie, along, we just need our church body here for people to meet and see, okay? All right, thank y'all. Anything else? Prayer request? Announcements? Doug, open us in prayer, would you? Yes. Amen. All right, guys, back in Proverbs, let's turn to chapter 31 in Proverbs, and we'll start in verse 10. Along with announcements and prayer requests, before we get into our lesson, I covet your prayers as well. We will be having a business meeting in a couple of weeks, and there will be something for us to vote on, but I want you to pray a lot about it before you vote. Pray for me and my family. The church will be asked to vote whether or not I will be accepted as an associate pastor and possibly an ordination service in December. So please pray for that. And we want God's will here. And I have been very blessed because of this. Standing before the congregation a couple times, I know I went long. My family never lets me forget it. Joe and his wife said I was just like an old Southern Baptist preacher. I went long. I can't say I won't do that again. But I think I'm going to get a big, if this keeps going, I think I'm going to get a big digital clock and put it in the back of the room so I can see it. It'll be in red, and I can see it so that when I get where God gets through with me, I'll quit. Wow. I mean, I've been busted out from the pulpit and from the praise team. It just hadn't stopped, but that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, thanks, man. I feel it. I feel it. But y'all seriously, y'all pray about this before we cast a vote, and I'll do whatever the church wishes me to do. And I just felt like that I could be of some help in this transition period. And when another pastor comes, more than likely, he's not going to know you guys, know our people. And I felt like I could help him as well. But this has been 2 years in the working, and I feel really good about it. So y'all, I covet your prayers, and thank you for letting me say that. All right, guys, Proverbs chapter 31. And I thought about doing something even a little more different. Y'all know I'm weird anyway. But I was going to do something a little different this morning. I thought about having all the ladies sit up here in these close chairs and all the men sit back there. But I thought, nah, if I do that, the men won't pay attention. I know the men of this church. But we're talking about a first topic is the ideal wife. And we're talking about women, Christian women in general, okay? And this is coming from Proverbs chapter 31. And Brett, I don't know how much you looked into this. I'm sure you did some at least. But this king Lemuel that's mentioned in the first part of Samuel of this chapter, I tried to find some more information about him, and it's not available. We don't even know. This is some words that his mother gave King Lemuel about his wife, or looking for a wife, or any of the above, and having a woman in your life. And I couldn't find any more information about him. The only thing our Sunday School Quarterly said is he could have been a king from another country, not necessarily a king of Israel. I've used some of these passages in a couple of funerals that I've done for some ladies. And I just got to tell you, I'm a blessed man. My wife is a virtuous woman. And she is dedicated to her Lord. And if y'all tell her I said this, I'll tell you I didn't. I'll lie to her. But she's I'm just bragging on Becky and we've got so many other women in our church that are just like that. Becky puts her whole heart into, and Debbie knows. Debbie works with her in children's church, and Debbie does the same thing. They prepare to teach these kids over and above. They love the Lord. A virtuous woman, the definition of a virtuous woman is that she loves God. And it shows. And it shows. Let's read our first few verses starting in verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of the husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. We'll stop right there. The definition of virtuous in our Sunday School Quarterly primarily means strength or might. This woman has strength or might. You know, there was a time in our world, sadly, different generations from then that go way back, the woman was always quiet at home. That didn't mean she wasn't godly. But now in the world we live in, and I look around this room at the ladies that are in here, and again, our church is blessed with godly women from the past all the way to right now. Some of them have already gone on to be with Jesus and be with the Lord. And I think back to some of those ladies that even some of them that are unable to attend right now. I think of Miss Campbell and so many others. And Mike, your mom. What a wonderful lady she was. Dedicated. And when those women come in the room, you just know. You can just sense it. You can just feel it. And ladies, I get the same feeling from you. When you ladies come into the room, or when you come into the worship service, or when we had a get together Friday night at the house, and I dressed up as Hulk, if you didn't already know that, because my grandkids told me to. I had green body paint all over me. I've still got it in my beard. You probably can see it. But the ladies that came to that, so much love and so much kindness, and good Christian women who are supportive, who work in their families. The verses here says, what does it say about the husband, knowing about a virtuous woman? The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her. This woman can be trusted, not only trusted with the love that she has for her husband, but the love she has for her family. You know, we live in a crazy world. And we can't say this about all women. Sadly, I think of, like I said earlier, some of our moms and some of our church members who have passed on. They still resonate with me by the way they live their lives. I'm sure you could say the same thing about you. And Debbie, Miss Bernie, she was a tough lady. She went to the door with a .44 Magnum. And somebody strange was knocking on her door, and I believe Bernie would have shot him. Yeah. But she could, at the same time, not only was she strong, she was godly as well. And I think we could all say that about family members and the church ladies that have been through our lives and hold them up. That's a big statement that her husband has full trust in her. No questions asked. It's so good when a couple can sit down and have a conversation about a difficult situation that's going on in their family life. And the husband can put full trust into where his wife's coming from in that discussion. I don't know about you guys, but I lean on my wife. I lean on her to keep things stable. I can't, not the way she does. But I lean on her for that. I trust her with that. Verse 12 says, she will do him good and not evil in all the days of her life. And I know that sometimes there are problems within a home, and I know sometimes there are separations in the home and things like that. And that's nothing more than, well, I'm going to go ahead and say it, that's nothing more than Satan getting in the lives of people. When someone thinks more of their life than they do their mate's wife or their family's life. And it does happen. And I've seen some folks here at our church that found each other later on, even after, say, a divorce or a death of a wife or a husband. And they found someone else that cares about God as much as they. And you can see it blend together so well because God is in it. This virtuous woman that he's talking about here, it says that the husband is blessed to have her. He can trust her completely. That's a big statement, isn't it? Trust her completely. The last verse, 23, that he has in our lesson today. This is a huge statement, especially during Bible times. But we could take this to heart as well. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. Back in those days, sitting at the gate was the men's job, the gate of the city. And when they went there every morning, sometimes they would be there all day long. They would sit there together as a group of men and discuss what needs to happen in that town. And it was usually Christian men, of course, or godly men in the Old Testament times. And they would discuss the needs of the city. They would discuss the needs of other families within the city. And they would sit there, and what I'm getting from this verse is if your wife was known in those circles with those other husbands, that's a huge deal, man. When they're sitting around talking about all these things and someone knows your wife, and it's brought up in that circle of men, that husband is truly blessed that those other men recognize what a good lady, what a wonderful woman, what a wonderful godly woman this is. And she's known among that group of men. It's giant in those days. We sit around a lot of times when the guys get together, Joe, we sit around and we have our conversations about hunting and sports, things like that, and inevitably sometimes our wives will come into the conversation. And when we're sitting around with each other, a group of men sitting around with each other, sometimes we'll talk disparagingly about our wife. We're kidding. We'll say, man, Becky's been on me this week. And she has. Let's talk about those kinds of things because we want to seem powerful. We want to seem like we're in control. I got news for you guys. We're not in control. If it was left up to just us men to take care of everything about our home, take care of everything about our church, our family, our jobs, there's a strong woman behind it, pushing us, keeping us in line. And I'm standing here as a guy that'll tell you the truth. There's times that if I didn't have Becky to lean on, I'd be in some serious trouble. Man, she'll line me out, Greg. Guess what? I needed to be lined out. Now, if y'all go out of here, I know this is recorded, but if y'all go out here and tell Becky all this, I'll never speak to you again. But this is important that we understand the value of a virtuous woman. That I told you it primarily means strength or might. There's nothing that can replace a strong lady. Nothing. And I don't care if you're married, divorced, or single, we still need you in all of our lives. I have more blessings when I come to the house of God, or when I call somebody in their home and I get a chance to talk to the lady of the house. I'm blessed. Because I want to tell you something, guys. If you want the truth about the way things are going, the ladies will tell us. Some of it you can't necessarily share. But the ladies of our church give me strength. How about you? You feel the same way? I mean, I was down. Y'all got to see the picture of me and Miss Raines from Friday night. I'm gonna go ahead and bust her out. That's a woman that I love dearly. I'll go as far as to say she's as much a mother to me as anybody has been. And I love her for it. I'd fight anybody for her because of the woman she is. Now, Janet, you and Greg were there, and I had my green paint on, and I snuck up behind her, and I got a picture of this. It's wonderful, Greg. Thank you. And I snatched her up. And you should see the expression on her face. It was so funny but she was so funny about it. How old is Miss Raines? 86? The life she's lived because of the kind of woman she is. That could be a model for all of us. It normally registers in a long life. Janet, your mother, still a godly woman. Judy, I don't know your mother. Okay. But I know I've met Janet's mother several times. Just such a sweet spirit. And I'm looking at ladies in here that have the same spirit. And guys, ladies, don't think it doesn't matter. It translates. We as a church, if Bill Rice used to say it, and I'll never forget it. He said it numerous times. If it weren't for the women of this church praying, there wouldn't be any prayers. If it was just left up to the men to do all the praying, there wouldn't be many prayers going up. The women of this church are the spiritual backbone of this church. And I mean all of you. In some way, shape, or form, you are all virtuous women. Strong, godly women. And I appreciate you all for it very much. Even the young ladies. I think about my granddaughters who have all come to know Jesus Christ as their Savior. That's such a blessing. But that's because of the parents getting those kids to church. Y'all can relate. Getting those kids to church, teaching them at home by example. But our young ladies who get behind these things that's going on at church and participate, it's not just the older ones, it's the younger ones too, who are here and are solid. And they come and they participate. They don't just participate, they get out in front. And they drive things in this church. We wouldn't be much of a church without our virtuous women. Anybody got any comments about that before we move on? Something you'd like to share? Yes. Yes, we are. Yeah. I agree, Debbie, and I see all the ladies here, and guys, if it was left to us men to teach Sunday school classes, to teach in children's church, to teach in Bible school, to teach in Awanas, somebody tell me where we'd really be. We know, don't we? We know. And we have a lot of young ladies who are so involved in teaching and the ministry of this church. They got that from somewhere. Like Debbie said, they had others who've gone before them who are still plugged in and involved and still pour out their life into the kids and the other people of this church. The WMA, they're what a wonderful group of ladies who meet on a regular basis, local and district. And I'm telling you, Becky's been to some of those meetings, and she said that the matter of prayer is so important with that group of ladies. And they're praying for this whole body. They're praying for our families. We're very blessed. Like Debbie said, we're very blessed as a church. We're a small church. But I would challenge, I'll go ahead and say this. I would challenge a lot of large congregations to match the prayer that these ladies in our church send to our Lord against any other church in the country. And I know there are other ones. Don't misunderstand me. I know they have groups. But we have a strong, strong group of ladies in our church. All you ladies are so dedicated to not just our church, but you're dedicated to your families. And that's what it takes to be generational, Debbie, is to be dedicated to the family, to have it coming up. And I thank you all for it. And I thank those that have gone on before as well. Brett, you got anything before we move on? All right, let's go over here to chapter 31, verse 13. This is one of the reasons that Solomon has placed in our scripture reading about why these women in our lives are so important. The caption says, an industrious worker. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and portion to her maidens. I don't know about your household. Becky gets up before anybody at our house, except on work days. I get up at 6, and she stays just a few minutes longer. But Becky's life is still full. When those boys hit the door, when Hayes, Carter, Rogers hits the door, by the end of the day, Becky's worn out. Y'all know, y'all been involved in some of that yourselves. But she never wavers. It's amazing to me. If I had to do that, well, He'd be out in the yard and running up down the streets. I wouldn't know where he was at, probably. And he would. But it's amazing to me the strength that women have in their family as opposed to most men. Does that make any sense? The things they do, the extra effort that they put into it, the hours they put into it, the lack of sleep. All right, let me ask you a question. Joe, did you get up at night when your babies were little? I thought I was asking the right guy. I knew I was asking the right. Should I ask you? Did Joe get up in the middle of the night? Now, that takes strength, guys. That takes strength to do that for years. When a child is sick, don't get me wrong, dads love their kids. I'm not saying that. But they can't give the same kind of care to those babies that the mother can. We got a problem over here?
He woke up with me.
Pardon me?
He woke up with me at the beginning.
Oh, really?
Keep me awake.
Keep you awake. Okay. Good for you. That war. Did you actually participate, or did you just watch TV? Yeah, I like that. I like that, Ryan. I like that. Hey, I got up a lot with our kids. I had the midnight feeding with the bottle. That wasn't the way to go. But I can remember with that little blonde-headed lady right over there when she was growing up, I'd get up with her and get in the rocking chair in the living room with her, and I could not stay awake. I could not do it. I don't know how you do it, ladies. I could not stay awake. I would rock her and give her a bottle, burp her, and then I would fall asleep in the rocking chair with her in my arms, and then I would wind up on the couch with her laying on top of me. And every morning about 4 o'clock, my redheaded wife would come in there and shake me and say, "You're going to kill this child. Because she's going to roll off you and fall on the floor, or you're going to roll off on top of her. What are you thinking?" I did it every night. I could not stay awake with her, Janet. She was asleep. And boy, I'm going to tell you something. There's no more restful peace and sleep than you get with a baby laying on you. And I got me some sleep, boy. Then Becky would get up, and she would come in there at the 4 o'clock time to get her, and she would stay up the rest of the day with her. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how you guys do it. You only do it because God put it in you. You're built that way. And unfortunately, us men, Doug, we can take advantage of that. You know what I mean? Oh, she's got it. Not that she's supposed to do it, and I've said that a few times. It wasn't good, Doug, when I said that. But she's got it. I'm going to go on to bed and get some sleep. It's amazing to me that women can put in so much more time on things than men can, and be so much more dedicated than men can. It says she rises up early. She rises also while it is yet night. Verse 16, she considereth a field and buyeth. With the fruits of her hands she planteth a vineyard. This is speaking metaphorically. This is like, you think of farmers, what do you think of? You think of a man who owns a farm and he works diligently to raise. He's saying that women are the same way with the life of her family. They take ownership. They take ownership of their family and their kids and their husbands, and they work that. They work so hard at it, like he's describing in that verse. The latter part of that verse says, she considereth a field and buyeth it, with the fruits of her hands she planteth a vineyard. In other words, she has poured into that family or those children and produces a wonderful vineyard, a crop. That's what Debbie was talking about generational in this church. I was talking to Miss Whitlock this morning. Think about her raising Larry, Dennis, and Danny. I think Danny was probably her baby, her favorite, wasn't she? That's what Dennis always says. You talking about a strong woman. To raise those three clowns? I've known them all my life. They had to be hard to raise, Joe. Speaking of Joe, your mama had her work cut out for her too. And I say all this, and I'm gonna be a little bit selfish. Some of y'all knew my mother. Some of you, most of you didn't. Lindsay, you know. My mother was not that way. She was gone quite a bit in the hospital. And I got myself up and got ready for school and got myself to school. And I went to Don's IGA and signed the ticket for my meals because my dad had to work. Mom had a lot of mental issues. And I remember, this is getting sappy here, I know, Doug, but I remember going to my friend's house and seeing the way their mothers were. Wayne and Steve Wood and all those guys, their moms, even Mike Boulding's mom. I remember seeing that and thinking, man, this is special. I'm not saying this for people to feel sorry for me. I'm just saying this is because when you have it at home, you have it. And when you don't, sometimes it's hard to get through the day. I give a lot of credit to our moms. Single moms, goodness gracious. We've got some single moms here in this church. And I've watched them through the years raise these children and keep them in church. Seth, your mom, Debbie, you remember? Becky Bowles was here. And she had her kids here. And Steve didn't come to church at that time. Steve wouldn't come. But Becky never failed to have those kids. And not only had them here, but she worked in this church. She participated in this church. When we had the plays out at Rose City, Becky worked as hard as any man to help put those things on. And she was, and I'm not knocking Steve. Steve's a good man, and he's been saved, and he's a member of this church now. And what a blessed time that was when Steve came. But that's the result of it. This young man has moved back in with his mama to help. I thanked him for that this morning. But this young man has moved back in to help his mom because of what his mom distilled in him. Does that make any sense? And I don't know what Becky would do without Seth and her other kids, but that doesn't just happen, guys. That doesn't just happen. Because someone like Becky and others have bought that field and taken care of it themselves and yielded a wonderful vineyard crop. She grindeth her loins with strength and strengthened her arms. Verse 18, she perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth out not by night. I mentioned that earlier about how many of you ladies have spent sleepless nights with a sick child? Raise your hand if you have. Lindsay, Janet, think about it. Think about it. I slept lots of nights when my wife was up with a sick child. Oh, sure, I'd get up some and check in, but she pulled the load. That's a godly woman who loves her children enough to do that and stands with their children no matter what. And I tell you something else now that we're on that subject. Sometimes children can go astray, can't they? No matter how much you poured into them, no matter how much you've had them in church, no matter how much you've prayed for them, sometimes our children can go astray. The mom never gives up on the child. They can distance themselves some, but they won't ever, I can promise you, a loving woman like we're talking about here in these scriptures will never give up on their child. Never. And they'll continue to pray for that child with everything they've got in them. 21. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. That's another metaphorical statement there. Her kids are going to be taken care of, no matter the weather. How many of you moms sent your kids out in a snowy day with no coat on? None of you. It's because you loved them and you made sure that their needs were met. You took care of everything they needed, and when they walked out of the house, y'all seen the what's the name of that old movie? The Christmas Story. When the mom is wrapping up the youngest one so much in that purple jumpsuit that he's got on that he can't even move, that's a virtuous woman. He can't breathe, he can't put his arms down, but he's going to be warm. He's going to be taken care of. That's a true virtuous woman right there that takes care of their children in the snowy, cold weather. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. In other words, she's not afraid to work. She'll even work out. Guys, we live in that generation now that most families have to have the woman go to work. Back in the day, Doug, was your mom a stay-at-home mom? Right. That was the thing. Right. My dad did the same thing. Well, he had to. But nowadays, all you ladies have got jobs. Some of you have been blessed enough to retire, I'm sure. But you've all got jobs. You went outside the house to help provide for the family because it took it nowadays. Man, when's the last time you went to lunch somewhere? What does it cost you? Becky and I went to eat. We went to eat at Wright's Barbecue, and we never order a 2-meat and vegetable special. Well, we hadn't had anything to eat all day, so we were hungry. So she ordered 2 meat and a vegetable and a drink, and I ordered the meat and 2 vegetables and a drink. It was $70. I looked at her and said, "We ain't coming back here like this no more. We're going to eat before we come." Huh? Yeah, no kidding. But guys, most families, the man and the wife have to work to make ends meet. He's talking about a virtuous woman here who doesn't mind going out and working if she has to make sure that her family is taken care of. That's a huge thing. Huge thing. I don't know of any of y'all who have any of y'all been stay-at-home moms? You ladies?
I was for 12 years.
Right.
When he went in junior high school, I was offered a job at the school, Meadow Park.
Mm-hmm.
I worked there.
Meadow Park.
Mm-hmm. Elementary.
I'm an old Meadow Park lark.
The old building.
Yeah.
I worked there for 8 years as a crossing guard.
Oh, really?
And a lunchroom aide.
Okay. When was
I had
that?
a split shift.
What year was that? I wasn't there, was I?
No, it was before 92. It was 80-something.
Okay.
1980-something.
Okay.
Michael was...
You're not that old yet.
Well, yeah.
I mean, old enough for me to have been there.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I'll be 77 in January.
You bring up a good point.
I got a 54-year-old son.
Yeah. You bring up a good point. How many teachers in the school system are women?
A lot.
I'd say 90%. Would that be fair? Why? Why?
And after I worked in school district, I got offered a job to work with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked together for probably 30 years.
Good.
And then I retired right before the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
He had already retired, and I retired. And I'm staying home with him then.
Okay. You took care of him.
Yes.
Most of the school teachers are women. Lindsay, about Cabot, right? Why is that? Are men or what? If I had to go to school and deal with them brats, they'd arrest me. Because I'm into corporal punishment, man. That's why women are the majority of the teachers, because they're nurturing. They care about those kids. And they care about, and that's why, I had very few male teachers. Tanya, did you have any male teachers? I had a couple in high school, but that was it. That was it. Mr. Baird. I remember Mr. Baird at Northeast. He was great. But you remember him? Yeah. He let us cut up frogs. But, you think about that. Why is that way? Because the women take that more seriously than I think any men will, ever. And I'm not saying there's not some good male teachers. There were, and there still are. But that's just not the way it is anymore. She maketh fine linen and selling it. She delivereth girdles unto the merchant. She works for her family, just like most of you have, if not all of you. We're going to get into when I say the next group of verses, how much time we got? Ooh. I can't see. We got to go. I went long again, Mark. Huh?